Something invisible has killed more humans than every war ever fought. No army, no weapon, no warning, just a single infected person. And it spreads. And now, we're counting down the deadliest viruses in history. Ancient plagues, modern pandemics, and the one that permanently changed how humanity lives forever. Ebola. Picture this. You walk into a hospital in full protective gear, and the patient in front of you is bleeding from their eyes. That's Ebola. First discovered in 1976 near the Ebola River in Central Africa, the virus baffled doctors from the start. Victims developed sudden fever, intense pain, and uncontrollable bleeding. Then organ failure, then death, sometimes within days. What made Ebola so terrifying wasn't just how it killed, it was how fast it killed, and how visibly. Some outbreaks recorded death rates as high as 90%. 9 out of 10 people who caught it died. Healthcare workers were among the hardest hit. Nurses and doctors who showed up to help became victims themselves. During the 2014 West African outbreak, the world watched in real-time fear as the virus crossed borders. Airports added screenings. Governments prepared emergency protocols. People genuinely asked, is this how it spreads globally? Thankfully, Ebola requires direct contact with bodily fluids, which made it containable. But containable isn't the same as forgettable. The name Ebola still carries weight. And it should. HIV/AIDS. In the early 1980s, young, healthy people started dying, and nobody could explain why. Their immune systems were collapsing from the inside out. Simple infections, the kind a healthy body handles without effort, were killing them. When scientists finally identified HIV, they discovered something uniquely dangerous. This virus didn't rush. It was patient, silent. A person could carry HIV for years without any symptoms, unknowingly spreading it the entire time. While it waited, the virus quietly dismantled the immune system piece by piece, until the body had no defense left against anything. There was no cure, barely any treatment, and the fear that followed became its own epidemic, one of misinformation, stigma, and discrimination that devastated entire communities. Millions of children grew up without parents. Hospitals were overwhelmed, and the death toll kept climbing. To date, HIV has killed over 40 million people worldwide. Today, medicine has advanced dramatically. Patients can live long, healthy lives with proper treatment. But here's what separates HIV from almost every other virus on this list. It never ended. HIV is still here, still spreading, still killing. One of the longest-running pandemics in modern history, and most people have stopped talking about it. The Spanish flu. The year is 1918. World War I is winding down. Soldiers are finally going home. They didn't know they were carrying something worse than the war itself. What began as a seemingly ordinary flu escalated into something doctors had never seen. Victims turned blue, literally blue, starved of oxygen as their lungs filled with fluid. Some people went to sleep feeling fine and were dead by morning. Hospitals ran out of beds. Cities ran out of coffins. The most shocking detail? It wasn't killing the elderly or the weak, the usual flu victims. It was targeting healthy young adults in their prime. The reason was brutal. Their strong immune systems triggered a cytokine storm, the body's own defenses going haywire and attacking itself. Fueled by mass troop movements across continents, the virus spread at a speed the world had never experienced. In roughly 2 years, the Spanish flu infected an estimated 1/3 of all humanity and killed somewhere between 50 and 100 million people. Some historians believe the real number was even higher. To this day, it remains one of the single deadliest events in human history, deadlier than World War I. COVID-19. Most of you lived through this. It started as a news story about a strange pneumonia outbreak in one city. Then within weeks, the world stopped. Flights grounded. Borders closed. Cities locked down. Schools went silent. For millions of people, COVID-19 was the first time in their lifetime they truly understood what a pandemic meant, not as a historical concept, but as something happening outside their window. The virus moved fast. It spread through the air with frightening efficiency, and its range of symptoms was wildly unpredictable. Some people barely noticed it. Others were put on ventilators fighting for every breath. Mass graves appeared in countries that ran out of space to bury the dead. Doctors worked until they collapsed. Families said goodbye through phone screens. And while scientists achieved one of the fastest vaccine developments in history, fear and misinformation spread online just as quickly as the virus spread in person. Officially, millions died. Unofficially, researchers believe the true death toll may be significantly higher when you count excess mortality worldwide. But COVID-19's legacy goes beyond the death count. It reshaped economies, education systems, mental health, international travel, and how humans relate to each other. The world that exists today is measurably different from the one that existed in 2019. Smallpox. Every virus on this list is terrifying, but none of them ruled the world for thousands of years. Smallpox did. For millennia, it was humanity's most feared disease. It spread easily through the air. It caused excruciating fever, then wave after wave of fluid-filled blisters covering the entire body, including the eyes. Survivors were often left permanently scarred. Many went blind. Millions never survived at all. No civilization was immune. Smallpox toppled kings, collapsed empires, and wiped out entire indigenous populations who had never encountered it before. Historians estimate it killed hundreds of millions of people across recorded history. Hundreds of millions. Let that land. For most of human history, there was simply nothing to be done. You caught it or you didn't. You survived or you didn't. Then came vaccination, one of the most important medical discoveries ever made. And decades later, the world did something that had never been done before and hasn't been done since. In 1980, smallpox became the first, and still only, human disease to be completely eradicated from Earth. A virus that murdered hundreds of millions of people across thousands of years, was hunted down and destroyed by human cooperation and science. That's either the most hopeful story on this list, or a reminder of how much damage one invisible enemy can do before we finally stop it. Viruses have brought down empires, ended generations, and permanently altered the course of human civilization. And the uncomfortable truth is, we're not done. New viruses are emerging every decade. Some sit dormant in wildlife. Some are thawing out of ancient permafrost. Some are already among us, undetected. The question isn't if the next pandemic comes, it's whether we'll be ready. If this video hit different, drop a comment. Which virus on this list scared you the most? And subscribe if you want more deep dives into the stories most people overlook. The deadliest monsters are always the ones you can't see.